Thank you for joining us for modernizing your legal workspace here with LawToolBox and Element. Excited to chat with you today. So sit tight and grab a cup of coffee, and we'll get started in about a minute.
Well, Carolyn, I'm excited that the snow is finally melted here in Minnesota. Been a long time coming, been a long winter. So I sit right in Minneapolis for the audience, if you're curious where everybody is.
Well, we're experiencing a nice sunny, warm day. We had some interesting rain slash snow yesterday, so hopefully we're heading into spring as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. We're seeing a lot of people joining. We're going to get started here in just a moment, and excited to have you here on our webinar talking about modernizing your legal workspace. We're here with Element, and super excited to be here with Jeff. And I think we'll go ahead and get started. And we have our recording started. Excellent. Okay. Thank you for joining Modernizing Your Legal Workspace. We are going to be talking about using Microsoft Teams along with Outlook and SharePoint and all that comes with it, and LawToolBox, and linking it to not just DMS, but time and billing, accounting software. And we are very excited to be here today with Jeff Kosek from Element. And we'll just dive right into some introductions. My name is Carolyn Grow. I'm the COO at LawToolBox. I've been at our company for 23 years. How time flies, and excited to be here with you today.
And my name is Dasha Baulina, and I'm a customer success manager here at LawToolBox. I've been with the company for almost 3 years, and I'll be walking you through our application today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Kosek. That picture, I think I'm almost wearing the same outfit as in that picture. Oh, ironic. My name's Jeff. I work for Element Technologies. I've been in consulting, technology consulting for about 24 years. I love what I do. I'm just wired on solving problems, and it's just really fun for me. So I'm excited to be here today.
Well, thank you for being here. So I'm hoping you can give us just a quick intro to Element.
For sure. Yeah. We can go through the slides pretty quickly here. We're based right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have another office in Naples, and we've had the wonderful success in growing the past few years. Gosh, we're up to 71 employees now. And you can see we've worked with a lot of international and local organizations. Transparently, a lot of our business is in legal tech. About 70% of our clients that we have under retainer is in legal. So my team and I know legal tech really well. You can just keep going to the next slide there, Carolyn. You can see what's in front of you here, folks. We are the bread and butter of our business that we started over 30 years ago was in managed IT. So clients entrust us to handle their day-to-day IT operations. They can call in and get help from my teammates. We have people out in the field. And then as you kind of go across the tech stack there, we are cybersecurity first and foremost. And along with that comes some procurement and the ECM practice. You see ND up there stands for Net Documents. We're the top partner on the globe for Net Documents. We're really excited about that. And then on the far right, we do see some of our clients that want help from us to dig in, to peel back and look under the hood when there's potential compromises or issues that come up. So that's another big part of our cybersecurity practice. The last part I'll mention to you about LawToolBox, I'm so excited about our partnership. We have some of our clients that are using the LawToolBox product and continue to expand every day. Specifically, the product has helped our clients, our law firm clients, solve their calendaring needs, and it does that natively in Outlook. I had one of my clients say, "Well, this looks like a no-brainer. Why would I not do this?" And it really is a no-brainer, and you'll see some of that as Carolyn goes through it today. The other part that I'll stress is as you're looking at a document management platform, at least within Net Documents, the product links to Net Documents so that the matters connect automatically in Microsoft. So it's the seamless experience for the user. And then there's one more quick thing I'll mention is What most firms are doing is they're manually generating deadlines. But you'll see in the demonstration today how Law Toolbox aids in that automation, and Carolyn will show you some of that piece. And then lastly, how we get involved with Law Toolbox is it's really a partnership. We are here to help you, to help our clients, to make certain that as you're looking at the product, that we can help collaborate with you, collaborate with Law Toolbox, so that our customers can get onboarded easily and we can train you. And I do have a complete training staff. So, that's really what the experience looks like. But Carolyn will show you more of the actual product today, but I just want to give you a quick taste of who we are as a company. So Carolyn, looking forward to seeing the product and going through it.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction. And I'll just say that Element is one of those rare breed companies that is a full-on Microsoft partner and also very deep in the legal tech and understands the ins and outs of applications like NetDocuments. So excited to be here with you today, and thanks for that great intro. So very brief introduction for those of you who do not know who we are. We talk about meeting lawyers where they work, and a lot of what we're talking about today is inside of their Microsoft 365 platform as a hub that connects to applications like their DMS, like their time and billing. NetDocuments is a great example of one of those. Just to give you a brief background, we have been around for 25 years. We are celebrating that anniversary. It's very important to us. We were actually the #1 Teams app sold in the Microsoft Marketplace last year. And so very excited to be sort of at the forefront. We launched our first Outlook add-in actually in 10 years ago. So celebrating 10 years with Microsoft. And that really set us up to be kind of ahead of the curve when it comes marketplace. We were invited on the main stage at Microsoft to talk about our Teams templates. So these Teams templates get generated and connected to the different applications like accounting, DMS within NetDocuments to create a template, leveraging the Microsoft Teams experience. And we made that decision 10 years ago to build our platform inside the client's tenant. So all of, our customers don't invest in a new cloud. They're leveraging their investment in Microsoft when they enable our application. Satya Nadella, a name that many of you know well, put LawToolBox up on his main keynote slide this past year, and we're pretty excited about that. And that does have a lot to do with us as an extension of the Microsoft platform that is actually made available to you specifically on your same Microsoft invoice, where you manage your office, where you as law firms are managing your Office 365. So who is that manages your Microsoft invoice? Well, our great partner here, Jeff at Element, is they're actually managing all of the LawToolBox licensing in the same way they're managing their Microsoft licensing, and same thing with the way that they manage helping law firms leverage Teams and Outlook and having it connect to products like their DMS and accounting software. We play a part and we live natively in the platform. So we're going to talk a little bit about how law firms are using Outlook and Teams to manage their matters inside of Microsoft 365. And it's really about allowing attorneys, associates, paralegals to work wherever they're most comfortable. That may be an Outlook for some people that are involved in a case, and that might be in Microsoft Teams for other. And a third person, they might be living in their DMS, and wherever they are, LawToolBox and that matter is connecting all of their work together. So you're going to see here in the demo, I'm not going to talk too much more. I'm going to hand it over to Dasha to really show you. But these are all the different things when we talk about LawToolBox as an umbrella platform inside of Microsoft and more recently inside of Microsoft Teams. We're able to leverage not just, if you think about it, if we chose not to have our separate cloud like that you go to and instead live in your Microsoft cloud, that means that we're inheriting all of the security that you get that Element is putting in place when they configure your Microsoft. Over here on the right-hand side, if you're using third-party data governance inside for your teams, for everything SharePoint, we inherit all of that. On the second call, obviously the first column, we're leveraging Outlook, Teams, and SharePoint. The second column, we're all hearing about AI, right? And we're hearing about all of these things that the new version of AI that was announced on March 16th called Microsoft Copilot, how that's going to help lawyers, get a first draft of pleadings because we're living in that same user experiencing. We're going to experience. We're going to be excited to show you a lot about that. So this is where I hand off to Dasha, and she's going to walk you through a lot of the different features that you see here on the left side of the screen. And I think you're going to do it from a couple of personas. So from the standpoint of being, I guess, somebody who does calendaring first, right? And then we'll look at what is an attorney and how do they use the system.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and start in our Outlook experience. So this is going to be where most folks spend their day. And in just a moment, you'll see my screen on Outlook. Perfect. So again, Outlook is the safe space where everybody knows to get their important case information, any documents that may come in on your cases. LawToolBox is going to live right inside your Outlook inbox. And if I'm a legal assistant or a paralegal that's doing the calendaring for your organization, I can jump into a matter and actually do all of the calendaring I need to while looking at this particular email. So I can go into my case, and if we already have the case created, I can just simply click on it in order to calculate my new deadlines. Here, I'll make this a little bit larger for everyone to see. And from here, I can go to calculate my deadlines. So if we have a trial deadline, for example, LawToolBox will allow you to calculate your trial deadlines all over the US and many different states, as well as Canada, and we are expanding globally. So if you practice in one specific state, or if your law firm is a nationwide law firm, you can select the appropriate rule set that needs to be calendared for your case and select the appropriate trigger dates. So in this scenario, I'm going to go ahead and look for our trial date. It's going to calculate 70 plus deadlines for us, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out for sometime next year.
And just to touch a little bit as you're adding that trial date, a lot of people ask us, do your rules cover every state court, federal court, court of appeals? Does it cover judges' rules? Does it roll deadlines off of weekends and court holidays? And yes, 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 and yes. You heard Dasha talk about LawToolBox also in not just Canada, but other geographies. We absolutely are providing rules, not just for your litigation team, but when you have general calendaring for transactional matters, administrative, regulatory, you're going to see the same thing you see here. That'll just have different language, different timelines. And here we're looking at litigation, right?
Exactly. So this particular case is going to be happening in Sonoma County, California Superior Court. Your attorneys will be able to see the California Rules of Civil Procedure referenced in each individual deadline. So if there is a deadline that's governed by court authority, we'll always include that for you, as well as be able to read more about those rule details inside our application as well. So we'll give you that court language of how we're arriving at these particular deadlines and how we're rolling them from Saturday to a Friday, for example. And once these deadlines have been calendared, I can simply click sync, and this will push all of these deadlines to all of our attorneys, all of our staff members, and everybody else who's working on this particular case. At any point in time, if we have a new hire that's going to be joining a specific attorney, we can instantly add them to all of the necessary cases, and they'll receive all of those deadlines on their calendar.
That's awesome. So when you remove an attorney, it cleans up their calendars similarly.
Exactly. And here is going to be just an example of what this will look like. So this right here is going to be a deadline that will appear on everybody's calendar, where you'll see your case name, your deadline description, as well as any other additional notes like matter number and case number included in here as well. And then lastly, I'll highlight that you'll also have LawToolBox in here as well. So if you need to change a deadline, you can just jump back in here and continue working on your particular event.
Awesome. Okay. So what are we going to look at next, Dasha?
Absolutely. So if I'm still going to be the calendaring persona, the other really important piece of LawToolBox is going to be the reports that we provide. So we have multiple different types of reports, whether we need to run a report for a specific matter, So let me go back to my Acme case and view my deadlines. I can generate a report to be shared with our attorneys, our staff, or share it with co-counsel if we're working on something specific.
And that's important. And you can also just selectively choose some of the deadlines to give to co-counsel.
Absolutely. So you can pick and choose any deadlines that you want. We have lots of filtering options, and then you can send this report to yourself. So if I'm an attorney, I can receive this report for one of my cases inside my inbox, as well as be able to check my dashboards for all of my upcoming deadlines and any changes that are happening across my cases for the next week or 2 weeks.
And so one of the things I think is cool about the reports is, depending on how large an organization is, some law firms set it so that attorneys and some of the paralegals don't have rights to go and do calendaring, and sometimes they want them to, but no matter what, everybody can go pull up a report like that and see, as opposed to calling a legal assistant or trying to find a bunch of items in their calendar. They can just simply pull a case report for any case, see who edited what and when.
So let me show you how we can generate a report for our managing partners. So here I can come in, select my attorney. I can either look for a specific case if we want to look just for the deadlines for one of our really important matters, or I can look for all cases for Gene Contoso. I can select my time frame to be either a month or 2 weeks, whatever the attorney preferences are. And we can see all of the deadlines that have been associated with that particular user. And we can download this report into our document management system or email it, or again, distribute it internally through a calendaring meeting. So let me go back to our matters and show you how the Teams piece comes into play here. So in just a moment, you will see that some of my cases actually have a team associated with this matter. And when I click on the name of it, you will see that I can jump into a Teams meeting. So I can start a Teams meeting with all of my colleagues on this case, or I can call everybody into the Teams meeting right away. So I'll actually call out to everyone who's part of the case, or we can schedule that meeting into 2 weeks from now, for example. Once we have a team created for a case, you will see a Teams chat functionality, and that will take you directly. From here, you can see when I click on Create Team, you can select the employment litigation, the contracts, the leases, or the commercial real estate teams template. So again, back to our presentation with Microsoft, this is what we unveiled last May, where you can actually customize teams based on your practice area. So you can have different channels for your employment litigation versus your family law or contracts. And I'm going to go ahead and just select employment litigation in this scenario. Once this team gets created, you will soon see it inside Microsoft Teams under the Teams tab. So right here, you can see that my matter is already being created, and it's going to show those channels in just a moment. All of the matters that LawToolBox creates, you will be able to see LawToolBox right inside this team, or you can go to the post section and communicate with your colleagues on that particular case. And again, as Carolyn mentioned earlier, all of this data stays inside your tenant. So from here, the customization that LawToolBox brings to the table is going to be what you see here on the left-hand side. So you can see we have our communications channel and a discovery channel. And then at the top, you will also see the native files that are going to take you into your Microsoft SharePoint site. You'll see LawToolBox here, which is what I showed you earlier, and it'll take you directly to the case deadlines for this particular matter. So again, same experience as what you saw inside your Outlooks. And then all these other tabs and channels are going to be what we automatically provision for you when you click that employment litigation matter. So here we have some planner tasks for summary judgment motion that's coming up. And here is where we can take one specific deadline that LawToolBox provides and really break it down into specific tasks that our team members are going to be taking care of. So again, we're leveraging the native Microsoft functionality to show you how you can integrate all of these amazing features into one umbrella platform through Teams. So a couple more things that I want to show you is the document component. So let me go back to LawToolBox and I'll actually show it to you from a full screen view here. So on here, if we go to our deadlines, our clients use many different document management platforms. where if you have net documents, you'll have net documents available for you, or if you have SharePoint or other platforms, that will be the connection to your particular matter. So right here, we can include an engagement letter for our case. So if we have a deadline that's been rescheduled by a judge, your attorneys will want to see why this particular deadline got moved and why these deadlines are in a different place than maybe someone was expecting them. This right here, I can click on it and this will take us directly to the document. So everybody's always going to have the right version accessible at their fingertips, whether they're looking at it from a calendar or from a report or again from LawToolBox. So let me switch over to the Net Documents view. So if your firm uses Net Documents in your environment, you can use the same functionality of LawToolBox and be able to jump into your Net Documents workspace in order to pull those engagement letters or your draft pleadings into your deadlines.
That's pretty exciting. So this is where we're connecting the two applications together. I would love to see how that connects.
Absolutely. So in order to attach a deadline to a particular event, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our deadlines here.
So what we're actually doing here is we're activating our matters are connected to the workspace, and then all of the different documents in that documents can be linked or whatever DMS, but can be linked to the actual corresponding deadline or event that it's happening for that particular item. And then it shows up on everybody's Outlook calendar, on their iPhones and their Androids. It shows up in all the reports that we provide.
Yeah, and in order to pull a particular document from our workspace, all I need to do is go to the deadline that I need to attach a document to, and I can just click on Net Documents link, and it's going to look to that cabinet for the documents that are associated with that matter. So just for comparison purposes, I'm going to switch over to Net Documents and show you the documents view. So anything within this draft file is what we're going to see on LawToolBox, and we'll be able to pull in that item to be part of the deadline. So in just a moment, you will see that summary judgment draft be attached to our deadline. And I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and just backtrack for a moment to the Teams template piece, and our audio cut out for a second. So just to kind of briefly show you what that does is you as a firm can customize what type of Teams templates that you want to have. So for any matter that you want to create a team for, let's say you have two major practices in your firm, like family law and
Transactional, perhaps.
so you can determine what types of channels and tabs and apps you would like to see in your application. And if I go to their admin portal, this is going to be reserved to your key firm administrators to manage your LawToolBox settings or whether you're using Net Documents or not. This is where you can customize your teams and either create a team for your family law or transactional group, or you can schedule Teams reports, which we haven't covered today, but you can actually automate your timeframe reports for each of your attorneys in order to get them the reports straight into their Teams chat. Perfect. And we're going to switch back over to the deck just because I know we scheduled this for 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and present our slide deck.
Okay, great. I'm just going to page ahead here. And so thank you, Dasha. That was an awesome demo just to kind of recap where we landed and what we covered today. What we saw was native calendaring inside of Microsoft 365. And we saw that we were using not a new cloud, but leveraging your client's tenant. And the idea is that you're not just creating matters in Outlook, a Microsoft matter that is actually created from your accounting software like Soluno or from your DMS like NetDocuments, but now it's connecting teams and it's leveraging all the security and it's allowing you to manage whatever you need to related to your legal cases. So as we move forward to the next page, thank you, Dasha. We're going to go through Q&A. So we've got a lot of really great questions. I think one of the first questions that I saw on the list was, do you have to go set all of these reminders? Absolutely not. LawToolBox builds in up to 7 types of reminders. So every attorney has their personal dashboard. So while attorneys may not be they may not be creating deadlines and events, they're certainly not just seeing them on their calendar, but in the top right corner of their Outlook or their Teams or wherever they are inside of Net Documents, they have a personal dashboard that allows them to pull a report, and that gives them a 4-day outlook. They obviously see deadlines on their calendar. We provide email reminders. We have personalized dashboards that send you your upcoming deadlines that every organization can choose during onboarding. And then there's all these built-in reminders for some of those really critical deadlines that need a bunch of advanced warning on, such as suggested latest date to hire an expert witness. So it's a great question. Another question that I saw come through was, hey, I've been using LawToolBox. I've been using Documents. What do I need to do to connect the dots between those two applications? If you move to the next slide, I'll kind of talk to that. We are very excited to be providing a special offer today that allows you to use this QR code and let us know that you attended today's webinar. And whether you are an existing customer of one of ours or of both of ours, we are extending an opportunity to help you, spend some time with you to help you use our products together. And so please take a quick picture of that QR code and enter Element in the code area, and we'd love to hear from you. I'm going to go through a couple more. Dasha, do you want to read one of the questions?
Yeah, Alex had a great question for us on where is LawToolBox data stored and do we integrate with iManage? I think that's a great question. So Carolyn, if you want to answer that one, that would be great.
So our data is stored inside your Microsoft tenant. We can't see anything other than the matters and the triggers that your organization is using to generate your deadlines. All of the chats and the documents and the correspondence, all of that lives inside your tenant and we can't see it. We're just an umbrella platform that connects it with your accounting. And related to iManage, yes, I would say a large portion of our clients use LawToolBox with iManage, and they're linking their events and their documents together so that when attorneys are opening up their calendars, they can see both.
Yeah, great. Jeff, any questions from you that you would like to address?
Yeah, maybe more of a comment. Oftentimes I hear from our customers, they're like, how do I manage all my tasks? What do I do with that stuff? There's some things in the DMS or some things in Teams or some things in Outlook. So do you run across that? And how do you solve that problem, Carolyn?
Well, so sometimes people call that docketing, sometimes they call it calendaring, and sometimes they're running off of roles and sometimes they're internal. And yeah, that is the essence of what we do. We have predetermined sets of rules that are based on regulatory laws and court laws that automatically determine those deadlines for you and allow you, most organizations we speak to and hear about and are noticing, the larger they are, the more likely they're manually entering their deadlines into their Outlook calendar. So, and a lot of people are saying, I want to start using Microsoft more. I want to know more about, leveraging Copilot. I want to have my matters talk to each other. Maybe I own a DMS and I want them to be linked. And so that's the problem that we solve for, bringing those documents into the Outlook calendar and into a chronology of a case, right? It's not an alphabetical listing or a date modified. Like the motions, the hearings, the documents are now built into the deadline chart and chronologically organized. And when you email that to people in your firm, that, they don't just get a report, they get an integrated report that organizes all of their documents in chronological order. Thank you for that question. That's awesome. I'd like to highlight a super important part. So Dasha showed you the admin portal for LawToolBox, where you add and manage LawToolBox users. So everybody asks us, well, how does our Microsoft partner Element in this case, how do they get LawToolBox? How do they enable it? How do they deploy it? They do it directly inside of your Microsoft 365 account. So no surprise that our licensing is managed by your Microsoft partner inside the regular Microsoft portals they use to manage the licenses, but that's also how they deploy our product. So this is not a traditional plugin. This is a modern add-in that we started down the road on back in 2013. Nothing's installed. It's all back-end enabled and actually sold to you on the Microsoft invoice.
Great. Well, I don't think we have any more questions. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to us. Would love to hear from you and talk a little bit more specifically about what caught your eye today and what you would like to chat with us about. So please feel free to book a demo or just reach out to us to connect. Thanks again, everyone, so much for joining today. This has been such a great presentation. So thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome,
And yeah,
Dasha. Carolyn, great to see you. And we're going to follow up with all the attendees to make certain that they're getting their questions answered and can get access to the copy of this presentation. So thank you so much.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day. Bye-bye.